Who wants to give that a try?
I can do it. I feel stressed out. The feeling. The problem is I'm unable to pay my bill, and the solution would be, Daddy, could you help?
Repeat that. So which one? What structure of that would be using those letters?
The letters would be, the solution is the first one,
Mm-hmm.
and the problem is the second, and the third is the feeling.
Okay. You see, that one was the giveaway, right? Because I feel stressed out.
Yeah.
Okay. Very good. We'll take number 3.
I'll take it. Feeling ugly would be the
Mm-hmm.
feeling. And then the problem would be I don't feel pretty. And then the solution would be, can you give me a hug?
Ah, yes. Very good. Mm-hmm. Number 4. Number 4. Anyone wants to?
I'll take it.
Okay, thanks.
I'm tired would be the feeling. I am broke and don't have any money is the problem. And what should I do
Is the solution.
is the solution. So it's backwards. It's 3 2
Backwards, yeah. And again, typically when I deal with people and I observe the way they communicate, and remember when I had asked you about that question about picking up the dry
Yeah.
cleaner,
Mhm.
that's exactly that format.
Mm-hmm.
Mm-hmm.
This thing says it's full.
Oh, okay, then stop it. Number 5.
I can do that one.
Thank you.
It says, I feel rejected and heartbroken. That would be the feeling.
Mm-hmm.
What should I do would be, wait a minute, people on my job hate me. That would be the problem. And what should I do would be the solution.
Very good, yeah. Number 6. Who wants that one?
It's hard.
Yeah.
That
But
one-
I'll take a shot. I mean,
Okay.
I think I don't like being ignored is the feeling. The problem would be it's very frustrating talking to you, and the solution would be I hate you.
I think you got the solution part right, but because frustration is, it's very frustrating talking to you, I would say that that's more of the feeling. And then describing what's causing the feeling is not being, I don't like being ignored.
That was a tricky one.
That was a
Yeah.
tricky one,
I was like, wait, what?
yeah.
Yeah.
So, but it's all about noticing for us, and especially when I do this. When I do this in my group, the first thing those are the first 3 things that I focus in on is how the person is describing their situation. If they're describing their emotion first, if they're describing the reason, and if they're describing the solution or the resolution to their situation. And again, most of the time it goes right back. I don't know why that must feel comfortable for us to describe the problem first, because we want the person maybe to get straight to the point, and then we want to work on the solution. But we hate. I've observed that that vulnerability again. It comes back up for not wanting to share that feeling. Number 7. I'm going to take that one. I'm feeling hungry. I don't want to eat dinner yet. I didn't eat dinner yet. What do you have to eat? Did you cook? So I'm feeling hungry expresses the emotion. That's the feeling. The problem is I haven't eaten yet. I did not eat yet. That's the problem. And of course, asking the question, what do you have to eat, is sort of like allows the person who hears that to go into explaining the solution. Now, with number 7, got to be careful with that, because again, it's going back. If I were to reverse that, and I say to, a son says to the mom or whomever, what do you have to eat? Most of the time, you're going to get a smart, you're going to get a smart remark back from that, because it's like, where is this question come from? What do you mean what do you have to eat? Who are you to come in and just be actually, you know, what do I have to eat? I mean, if you're nice about it, I guess it can go either way. But to hear a question like that right off the bat, it seems to me it's like it startles the mind into into defensive mode, and then you go into describing I didn't eat yet. That even furthers the defense, and then the fact that you say that you're feeling hungry doesn't really even get said in the situation. Number 8, who would like to take that?
I'll do it. I'm bored. Want to go brush our teeth? I think my breath stinks. I'm eating a mint.
What order is
Okay,
that?
I'm bored is a feeling. Want to go brush our teeth is a solution. I think my breath stinks is a problem.
We can need this after all. Number 9.
Yep.
I'll do that, because that's often at my house. Let's see. Okay. It's very frustrating would be the feeling. I'm tired and I see the house as a mess is a problem, and what you plan to do about it is a solution.
Very good. Very good. Now you mentioned about being that in your house. Would you be able to go with?
Yeah, it's very interesting, because the reason I said it's like my house, because I might want to say first, I'm tired and I see the house is a mess. So I probably wouldn't say I'm very frustrated first, but if I said that, it would probably help the others listen.
Yes. Yes. Mm-hmm.
Yes, I was even thinking too, if the feeling comes at the end, it's almost too late to even
Yeah.
let them know how you're feeling.
Oh
They're
my
already
God, yeah.
checked out
Yeah.
of it at that
Yeah.
point, especially if they get defensive. They don't really care how
They
you're
don't really
feeling at
care.
that point.
Yeah.
But if you start out with how you're feeling, they tend to be more attentive to it.
Exactly.
Mhm.
Exactly. Yeah.
Mhm.
Number 10.
I'll do that one.
Yay.
So, I am very thirsty is the feeling. The heat is killing me is a problem. And could you please pick me up some ice cream is the solution.
Mm-hmm. Very good. So you guys kind of get an idea of how this works. And again, it might be simple, but it takes practice, because we're so conditioned by upbringing, social norms, especially on the jobs. Certain jobs, you're not allowed to express your emotion and say how you feel about certain things.
I can imagine that might be a big problem for veterans growing up in a world where, you know,
Mm-hmm.
the military doesn't really care how you feel.
How you feel, yeah, yeah, you know. But for me, what I like about FPS, and I get that issue all the time. Some of the members, they would say to me, well, when they try to apply it with their spouse or significant other, the other person always tell them, well, I don't care about your feeling. And then they come back to me and say, Nigga, what do you do about it in a situation like that? And it's usually hard, because the person has now insulted them to the point where now I'm really scared about sharing what I feel.
Yeah.
But to bring back that courage to get them to say, even though that person says that, you have to disregard it to the extent of it's going to make you feel better just by saying it, even if the other person does not want to hear it. You see, that goes back to owning it. And it's very challenging for a lot of the members in the group to be able to do that, because when they, going back to what you said about vulnerability, when they share their emotion around it, the other person throws it back in their face and says, well, I don't care about how you feel.
Mm-hmm.
You know, forget about your feelings. Who cares about your feelings? But then what I tried to do is reel them back in to say, it's your emotion. You have to own it, regardless of what the other person says about it, it's a relief on you to be able to say how you feel. And once I'm able to do that and get them to be able to be, it's almost like they put so much emphasis on what the other person thinks that they disregard their own emotion. They will suppress it.
Yeah.
You know? Mm-hmm. All right, let's see. We are, where are we at for time? Almost about there. Okay. FPS in action. Let's see. This is the fun part. I'm trying to think of a scenario here. FPS in action. FPS in action is where we take a scenario and we do the FPS way, and then we do the ordinary way, and then we kind of observe the difference. Brian, when I've done this before, which one of our scenarios you think you like? You like the one where we did the?
How about the waiting in line at the post office?
It makes us all angry.
I did
That's
that
why
today.
I don't go there anymore. I go to mailbox places.
Oh boy!
Quick, easy, and nice.
I did that today. I was in line for 30 minutes.
Yeah,
At the
what did you
Western
do?
one?
Yep,
It's
at the
the
Western
worst.
one. My mom was like, "Don't go at 11." I'm like, "11? People are at work. I'm going."
Yeah, you would
It's,
think.
you would think it was a holiday. It was the line. It was like, okay, there's 5 people working. We'll go quick.
No.
Wow.
Didn't was at a standstill
Wow.
for like a long time.
So did you say anything?
No, I let the guy in front of me say something.
Somebody else said something?
Yeah, I was like, we were all like talking, and I was like, "Are you gonna go do it?" And he's like,
Well, you guys were debating on
Yeah. So he went and did it.
Yeah.
Yeah.
Yeah, Brian knows about my that story with the post office. Oh my God, it's like nearly dreadful to go there anymore. And but yeah, he likes. Okay, so that's.
That was one.
Well, let's hear what you would do. I would like to hear what you would do.
Okay, all right. I'm waiting in line. And, I would say, can I speak to the manager or supervisor? Let's
John.
role play with
Big John.
Hmm? John. Yeah. Can I speak to the manager or supervisor, please?
Sure, you're speaking to him.
Great. I'm a little annoyed. Caught the feeling?
Yep.
Because why would I be annoyed? Because I'm sitting there waiting. I'm a little annoyed. I've been waiting in this line for now 30 minutes, and I had someplace to be, and I'm kind of confused on why it is that it's taking so long and what we can do to kind of speed things up here.
So you gave 2 feelings. You gave confused too.
Yes. But what I do with that is I get people to start off with 1 first. And then as they get more comfortable with it, they can add 2 or 3 and stuff like that, mix it up and get better at it. But 1 is kind of like the start off. But did that, you caught that. And most of the time, some people don't even use any feelings at all. You know, I could come up to them and say, all right, that's, hey, what's going on here? What's the deal? You see this line here?
I'm already defensive.
So you got went straight to the question. You know what's going on? You know. That difference helps, and I've noticed that for me, even though I might be upset and I own my emotions, especially when I get a lot of anxiety, and when I'm going to the post office, I stay inside whatever it is I'm feeling at the moment. And I use that to my advantage. And then I would share that with John and say, you know, I'm a little anxious. Immediately when he hears anxious and anxiety, something about what I said is going to bring down the defensiveness because he's tuning into the emotion, what you said earlier. You know, I guess we all have that heart connection on some level that works. But then when I go to the solution, the S part, that brings up, it escalates the situation, and I find that all the time. As long as I've been doing this, and I observe the interaction of two people that has gotten into a situation, I get them to retrace back when and what was said to get them to turn that around. One, to get them to see that they started off with either the P or the S, the solution or the problem, and they completely left out the emotion. And but that's how I would handle it. That's one scenario. Let's see. Another one that I have is. Wait a minute, I think I got some good scenarios in here. Yes. Let's see if I can find some good scenarios.
Iki, what do you do if you start and you tell someone your emotion and they go, I don't care?
I say it anyway.
I really like what you said about that, because you said it's not about like actually talking someone into them understanding your emotion. It's about owning your emotion.
Owning it.
So that seems more significant than what the other person says.
Mm-hmm.
And I think that's
so we
powerful.
shouldn't be deterred if someone says, I don't care.
No, because he's saying, which I hear you, it's about owning the emotion, because that's coming from our core.
That's exactly. It's coming from the person.
And that's in our soul space.
Yes,
you know?
yeah. Just
But
kind of
isn't it-
spiritual, aren't you?
Also frustrating to hear that the person doesn't care how you're feeling, and that might also make you angry. The fact that they don't care.
It does. Yeah, it would definitely trigger.
Right.
But Dr. Gordon is pointing out, how do you, after hearing that, how do you stay within your emotion to say, okay, even though you don't care, I'm going to still be courageous enough to tell you what I feel. And that's about ownership again.
I think, I don't know, this is just on my personal experience after hearing you talk and how you use this tool, that it almost makes you more empathetic as a person, because it takes courage to, continue to own what you feel, and I would think that if somebody says they don't care about your feelings, to kind of take into consideration, well, I wonder why that person is saying that to me, but that doesn't really matter because I'm still gonna. Does that make sense?
Yes.
Yeah.
Mm-hmm.
What you were saying earlier about when you were texting your your friend, what you said was that you stopped to think, did I say something? But you almost like had time to reflect as opposed to just react to the person.
Mm-hmm.
So.
But not only that, I went into that conversation and I observed precisely where it was that she started to express her frustration, but more likely without owning it. You did this, you did that, you did this, and you did that. It was like no ownership at all, period. She didn't say anything about she was frustrated, she was having a bad day, she don't like the way the conversation was going. Mm-hmm. It was none of that. And I was taken aback because it was like I've been struggling with her to try to get her to adjust to this FPS thing, and it's not for everybody. As much as I would like it to be, it's very challenging for some people because they're so conditioned to blame. And rightfully so, because it's like, who else is in the room in that situation right then and there? If it's not me, then it's got to be you. And I've been talking to her and trying to get her to accept responsibility without feeling blame, and that's very, very hard. That's very hard.
And I was thinking, it's not so much, this is just my personal feeling, that it's not for everybody. I think that some people aren't ready to talk from that space, because that's a very internal, deep space to speak from. And I think some people aren't ready for that. It's easier to talk out here in anger for most of society.
But
to
wouldn't you
talk-
think that emotion is a common thing? Why would?
But you're talking about the people that aren't used to talking about that.
Right.
So people that
Oh.
have closed down their heart, that have needed to do that to protect
to protect them
themselves.
from feeling
Yeah, it's a
vulnerable.
way of protection actually. So it's not that they're not
Oh.
ready because they're stupid or because they're, they're not nice people. I think it's just because they're not ready to open their hearts yet. So it's out of compassion that they're not ready actually. 'Cause
Out
they
of
haven't-
compassion.
Yeah, because we close down our heart to survive. So
Yeah.
to me, the not ready thing, it's just that they're not at a space to be able to talk from their heart space. That's talking from your heart space.
It
is, I
is,
think
it
what you're
is.
talking
But
about.
the fascinating thing about what you're saying, it's like, and when you say what you're saying about being ready, I have been trying to observe why some people in the group catch on quicker and others take years. I still have one or two that still struggles, and it's like they're not giving in to the FPS.
But I don't think it's because they're being forceful or stubborn or they don't want to do it. It takes a lot of strength if you've learned all your life to close down.
Right.
And suddenly somebody's saying, well, I want to hear what you're feeling and thinking. And, it's like that, you want me to open up my heart space?
Right. So it's a door that's always been locked, and all of a sudden
To
you're
survive. It was a tool. It helped us
To
And
survive.
all
survive.
the dusting I'll have to do inside.
That's so much work. Time to clean up. Yeah.
We do what we're ready for.
Oh,
I'm
yeah.
saying.
And I
So it's
know-
all about being ready, huh?
Yeah.
Yeah.
And I know another thing that we talked about, Iggy, for some of the weeks is that some people come into this feeling differently about this. Some people are more confrontational when they get in a situation like this. Other people are the complete opposite. They shut down.
They shut
And
down.
they don't want to share those things.
Yeah.
That's two opposite sides of the spectrum in
Mhm.
some sense. And I know we talked about it. In a way, your approach is finding that middle ground
middle
where they
ground.
can be assertive
Yeah.
rather than confrontational or shutting down. It allows them to just be assertive and let someone know how they feel and explain something in a particular way
Mhm.
that doesn't have them get to a confrontation or doesn't have them shut down.
Shut
So
down. Yeah.
that could play a role too, how they come into it. I mean,
Mhm.
like you said, some people are coming into it, they've been shut down for a long time. Other people might come into it saying, I'm ready to get in a fight about something.
Yeah, and matter of fact, I do have that combination of the two groups. I have one that's very passive and shut down, and then the other side, they're very aggressive and combative and things like that. And I try to get both sides to come in the middle, where it's about that middle ground, being assertive.
And I think it's just a different style. Like some people, if their space isn't open, their heart space, then they'll shut down, like you're saying. And some people will come at you aggressive. But to me, they're both kind of doing the same thing.
They are.
They're
yeah.
not ready to go into that heart space that can feel very intimate and vulnerable.
Yeah.
I was going to add, it could also be just a different way of conceptualizing it. Some people go their whole lives and they build their egos around things that cause them pain, and they learn to identify who they are as a person in reference to their pain or their problem talk or whatever you want to call it. So you try to take that away from them, and they say, no,
They're
you're
not
taking
giving
away
it
who
up.
I am. I'm
Yeah.
not going to let you have that.
Yeah.
That's
yeah.
mine.
Yeah. That's
So
right.
it can be
Yeah.
a bit of a tug of war.
That's a good point. Yeah, that does happen. I find it, but I often find I'm like, why? But I do it gradually, and I try to get the members of the group just to follow. Like, I'll have one or two members who've actually applied it come in and give the group members some testimonies of how it's working in their life, and whether it's on a job or relationship and stuff like that. The other member sees this, but I'm trying to think why the ones who are still struggling, still resisting, and it probably goes
Not
back
ready.
to not being ready. But the thing about it, it's like once even those ones who are not ready, once they get it, it's like a light bulb go off that says to them, "Wow, what has taken me so long to do this?"
I was just curious about like you just brought up about the testimonies of people who have encountered that person in their life that says they don't care about their feelings. So I just feel like this is a good tool to use or to equip those people with, so that they'll know. I think it's a way of kind of conditioning, or basically like their experience. Okay, you told me you don't care about my feelings, but like you said, you continue to tell them to continue to express their feelings. you will not truly meet as many people that will be angry or mean to a meek person, someone who's actually expressing themselves kindly. They may start off like that because they know that through their relationship, that's the type of relationship they normally have. But once they continue to see that this person, every time I encounter this person is more of a meek spirit or kind person saying, I feel, at the beginning as to saying, so it's about continuing to keep that pattern with them. Okay, this person told me they don't care. That's fine, but I know that I want to tell you how I feel, and I'm going to continue to tell you how I feel. And I think in some aspects it could be teaching that person who you're communicating with. Okay, look, this is who I am now, and this is how this is how I'm going to respond to you. So regardless of what you give me, this is me, and this is how I'm going to respond. So it kind of, I feel like it will somehow, even though that person is like, no, this is me and I'm a combative person, you can't keep being combative to someone who's not going to be combabative to you.
Exactly.
You know?
Yeah.
So
That's
it's
a very
about
good point.
continuing to do what, equip them with the tools to continue to stay on that path. So I think it's a great thing.
I think a fascinating thing about this FPS is the language kind of lends itself to, it's about the dynamic of that conversation. So when you start with, so this is how I'm feeling, you're kind of opening up a dialogue and you're kind of putting something out on the table, right? As opposed to, this is what my solution is. The dynamic is more direct when you have that kind of dynamic with people. Walls come up. As opposed to when you kind of just lay it out in front of them. It invites them to come forward and have a dialogue with you.
And it's more empowering. You know,
Yeah.
because you get that out, and you address that emotion on both sides, because the person who's listening connects with you, and then the fact that you got that out of your system, that that makes it more empowering. Yeah. Now we do it one time.
There are a couple people out.
A quick thing to say. It's hard to relate to everybody's situation or everybody's problem, but if you start with a feeling, it's something that everybody can relate to.
Yes.
You say I'm frustrated, then you're like, I've been frustrated before, I understand what that feels like, and you're able to relate to that. I'm tired, I'm exhausted, or whatever it may be. That puts you on a level where you can relate to that person.
Makes it relatable.
It makes it so much easier to be able to understand whatever their problems might be or whatever their solutions. But if you start off with a problem you've never been a part of, or that you've never really understood, or a solution that you don't understand either, might make it difficult.
That's a good point.
To have that kind of relation.
Make it relatable. Yeah, I'm gonna take that. That's my takeaway from it. Making FPS relatable.
There was something I wanted to say in reference to what Beverly just talked about. She was saying that when you come out with my feeling, then the other person, that they're going to respond in a certain way. I wanted to add in there energetically, like we don't resonate with something, energies attract energies, right? So what you're saying, I think is so big too. Like when you start with your feelings and then you keep doing it, like you said, like say it's the same person, say it's your girlfriend, significant other, whatever. Eventually the energy, that person's not going to come back in a different energy, because energies attract energies.
Yeah.
So I just wanted to add that.
And as you were saying takeaways, Iggy, I was curious, just in respect to time, if maybe some of us wanted to share what we'll probably take away from this, and then we can wrap. And I was thinking questionnaires, if you're alright, since we're going to meet here soon, I could always collect those afterwards just to give people enough time to fill them out so you can get them back, if that's alright with you. So the beige sheet, of course, if you guys are done, you can pass them over.
Would you like these back as well?
Yeah. Now, let's see. Actually, how much more time we got? We just about wrapping up?
Yeah, just about 5 minutes or so.
Okay. Because I wanted. There was also on the back. Oh, you did both. Okay. Yeah. Oh, cool. Yeah.
And then I figured those who didn't finish, I can collect those afterwards and get to you on Thursday.
I have enough time.
Yeah.
Okay.
Of course.
Yeah. But please, by all means, you're welcome to the FAQ on FPS. Please take one of those. That gives. It's in your packet, and you're more than welcome to have those. But thank you for coming and participating. I actually have some goodies here for you guys in the box there. Please take a pen, a picture frame, something here. Don't let me leave with all this stuff. I brought these things for you guys to pick one or two and stuff like that. These like stuff that I give away. And I also have, if we can pass this sheet around, But I'm gonna let Dr. Gordon have the honors of doing this for you guys, for people who
Ah.
participate. That's certificate of
Yeah.
participation.
Oh, this is
Yeah.
very nice. You can